Well, Kelly, how's it going? Have you received our wedding invitation by mail? I don't know where you live now. You moved a while ago without giving me your new address. I thought you might have set up a redirect, so I sent it to your old address, thinking you'd eventually get it. So, have you received it yet?
Yeah, I got it. Seriously? Why did you bother sending it?
Well, obviously I want you to come to my wedding. Why else would I send an invitation?
Are you out of your mind, Tiffany? After everything you've done to me? You started hitting on my husband the day we got married, slept with him a few weeks later, and had an affair until I found out. I have no interest in attending the wedding of my cheating husband and treacherous sister. You wasted your money on the postage stamp, Tiffany.
Oh, but you have to come. You have a significant role to play in the ceremony. You need to be there to witness the moment Max and I exchange vows. I won't let you miss that.
So my role is to endure humiliation at your hands, is it?
Don't stress about your role. Just make sure you show up at the wedding, got it? Oh, maybe this little piece of info will change your mind. Max spent $100,000 on the wedding for me.
Seriously?
It might be a shock, considering he only spent $20,000 on your wedding. Compare those numbers, Kelly. Which one's bigger? Do you see now that he loves me more than he ever loved you?
You really are clueless. I explicitly told him that I didn't want a fancy wedding. I just wanted a simple one, to enjoy our time with friends and family. I talked him down to $20,000.
Yeah, right. You're just jealous that I'm getting a better wedding than you. So, as I said, your presence at the wedding is mandatory. I can't wait to see the jealous look on your face when I walk down the aisle. And just so you know, even if you're dead set on not attending, we're reserving a seat for you, no exceptions. I don't know where you live now. You moved a while ago without giving me your new address.
Were you even listening? I clearly said I won't be there.
Your presence is non-negotiable. In addition, I'm hiring a dedicated photographer to shadow you, capturing those moments of your supposed humiliation.
Like I said, I will never come to your wedding. This is my choice. You cannot force me to do something insane like that. Goodbye. A few days later.
Hey, Kelly. It's Paige, Mac's sister. Sorry for reaching out like this. I know it's been quite some time.
Hi, Paige. No worries. It's nice to hear from you. It really has been a while, hasn't it? Almost 7 months, if memory serves. Well, you know how it goes.
Yeah, I can't express how sorry I am for how awful my brother treated you. You deserved way better. Don't worry about it. There's no need for your apologies. Besides, my less than virtuous sister is just as responsible for the mess as Max.
She's the one who initiated things with him.
Yeah, you're right. I still feel guilty, though. By the way, have you received anything in the mail from them lately?
Are you referring to the wedding invitation?
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, are you planning to attend or not?
No way. I'm steering clear of that wedding. But Tiffany told me the other day that my presence was obligatory, and she'd be reserving a seat for me whether I show up or not, so...
I had a hunch that's what you're going to say. I know it's incredibly selfish of me to ask, and I feel awful about it. But could you please come to the wedding?
You want me to come? Why?
It's not something I can discuss just yet, but let me say, there's something I think you really need to witness. And don't fret about Max and Tiffany. I'll have a bodyguard ready to keep them at bay and away from you.
Wait, does that mean you're going to the wedding too? That's surprising. I thought you had a falling out with your family, especially since you sided with me during the divorce from Max.
Well, I wasn't planning to at first, but my dad insisted that the whole family should be there for Max's wedding. So I figured if I'm being forced to attend, I might as well use the circumstances to my advantage.
Okay, so what's this thing you want me to see? You're being kind of cryptic about it.
I know that. It must seem odd, actually. I promise I'll fill you in on everything before the wedding day. Can you trust me?
All right, Paige, I trust you. I'll let Tiffany know I'm coming to the wedding.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I promise you won't regret this.
Day of the wedding.
Oh my God, you're actually coming. I don't believe it.
Weren't you the one who told me my attendance was mandatory? Besides, I'm only here out of familial duty. This is the last time we're talking, Tiffany.
Fine. I don't care as long as you're here. I've been eagerly waiting to witness your jealousy when you see how much grander my wedding is compared to yours.
Well, lucky you. By the way, now that I have your attention, can I ask you something?
Ugh, make it quick. I've got to get ready.
Why did you take Max away from me? I understand your desire to marry a wealthy guy. And sure, Max inherited his family's company and is doing well professionally, but he was my husband. Why would you blatantly steal your own sister's husband?
Oh, that. Isn't it obvious? I couldn't let you nab a rich guy before me. You had no right to do that, Kelly.
What do you mean by that?
Remember what Mom and Dad said? They couldn't believe you got married before me, even though I'm the more attractive daughter. Even Max's parents believe I'm a better match. You're in your 30s. I'm in my 20s. So I have a much better chance of giving them a grandchild to take over the family company than you. Got that? Max thinks I'm better than you. Our parents think I'm better than you. So do Max's parents. He's mine. I win, and you lose.
You're something else, Tiffany.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Kelly, I'm so excited for you to come. Just wait until you see the custom-made Italian wedding dress. The diamond-studded platinum tiara, the caviar appetizers before the grade of 5 Wagyu beef main course, the imported French wine. This wedding is filled to the brim with Max's love for me, more love than he ever gave you. I wonder how long it'll take until you cry. Maybe 30 seconds. If it even takes that long.
I know it's none of my business, but do you really think an unemployed person will be able to pay for a $100,000 wedding?
Who's unemployed? What are you talking about, Kelly? Do you mean me? So what if I'm unemployed? Max makes more than enough for me to live this sweet life at home all day. I mean, he's got a maid and everything, so I won't even have to do any cleaning. I'll just be living the life you thought you would be living. And with that, my time's up. I've got to get ready for the ceremony. I hope you put on plenty of waterproof makeup.
Open your eyes and let's see. 1 hour later.
Good morning, Kelly. Where are you now? Are you on your way to the wedding yet?
Good morning, Paige. I'm just about to leave my house.
Okay, cool. So, about the special surprise we talked about, it's going to happen during the reception dinner. Once you've seen it through to the end, make sure you blend into the crowd when everyone starts leaving the room, okay?
Yeah, I got it. Be careful with all the preparations on your end too, Paige.
Sure, see you there.
During the wedding.
No way. This can't be happening. Mac's not the company president anymore. But why? It was his father's company. He inherited it.
Are you talking about the whistleblower report that Paige made to the company's board of directors? Yeah, that was really crazy, wasn't it? I particularly liked the part at the end. We hereby find that the company president, Max Griff, has abused his position as president and used company funds to finance his own extravagant lifestyle. As such, he will be relieved of his position effective immediately.
How could Paige file a whistleblower report against her own brother? Who does that?
Think about it. He wasn't just satisfied with reporting your dates as business expenses by pretending he was meeting with clients. He even tried to siphon off funds little by little from various departments to pay for your $100,000 wedding. She only did what any decent employee would do when they found out that their boss was stealing the company's money. He embezzled a massive amount, Tiffany. There's not a businessman out there who wouldn't get demoted or worse if they got found out doing that.
Wait a minute. I'll admit I didn't know he was using company money to pay for our stuff until now. But he controls the company, doesn't he? He was just using his own company's money to pay for his wedding. How is that a bad thing?
Do you know how businesses work? Even the president can't just up and use the company's money however he wants.
He can't.
Have you ever even heard the word embezzlement before? What Max did was illegal.
It was.
Yeah, and once the police got involved, the company had no choice but to remove him as president.
But why did she have to do this at our wedding? This was supposed to be the best day of my life, and now it's ruined.
I think you have much, much bigger problems to be concerned with right now, Tiffany.
Why is this happening to me? My life is over. Why did you not tell me from the begging?
Remember, Use the first guy who stole my husband. Why, I have to tell you about that. No need. For no reason. A few days later.
Hey, Kelly, are you there? Tell me what your address is, as soon as possible.
For what, Tiffany?
I've decided that I'm going to divorce Max and move in with you. I'm not interested in some broke loser. I only wanted to marry Max because he was a rich businessman. And I mean, embezzlement, you know? That's a serious crime, right? I could never stay with a man with such loose morals. Think about the impact he'd have on our children.
It's really ironic to hear that coming from you, Tiffany.
Stop mocking me. This is serious. Max's parents said that they won't pay the $100,000 for the wedding for us, and we're going to have to pay for it all by ourselves. Our parents all of a sudden moved away without telling me where they were moving to, and they won't answer my calls. You're the only one left who I can count on, Kelly.
Tell me, Tiffany, what made you think that I was going to help you?
Well, you're my older sister, aren't you? An older sister has to look out for her younger sister. We're family.
Yeah, that would normally be the way things worked in a normal relationship between sisters in a normal family. But you can't possibly be under the impression that we're in a normal situation, right?
Okay, so I stole Max from you, but now I'm divorcing him.
Good for you, I guess. But that has nothing to do with me anymore. I'm not helping you.
But why not? Your own little sister is about to be thrown out onto the street. Don't you care about that at all?
Nope, not in the slightest.
Really?
This is going to be the last time I say this to you, so listen up. I have not forgiven you for what you did to me. I do not care one single tiny bit about what happens to you now.
Kelly, please.
Even if you tracked down my new address and broke down crying on my doorstep and begging for help, I would give you none. In fact, if you ever come anywhere near my house, I'm calling the police.
You can't do this to me.
I can and I will. Goodbye forever. A few months later.
Hi there, Kelly. How have you been?
Paige, it's great to hear from you. I'm doing great, thanks. I hadn't heard from you since the wedding and wondered what's happened in the meantime.
I'm glad to hear you're doing all right. I'm doing pretty well myself. I'm actually in the UK right now.
The UK? Really? Wow, this is just a guess, but did you do that to escape from your disaster of a family?
Well, yeah, that was one of my major goals when I made the move. I've been dating a guy who's a UK citizen for quite some time now. We got married a few months ago, so we decided to move here together. After the wedding, I sent a letter to all of my family, telling them exactly why they're never going to see me or any of our children ever again, packed up my things and left the country.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm really happy for you.
Thanks, Kelly. How about you? How did things turn out for you after that?
Just fine, thanks. No problems at all. I was worried that Max or Tiffany might try to find me for a little while. But from what I hear, they have bigger problems to worry about than me. Man, I would like to visit the UK. I bet it's fantastic over there.
Are you interested in coming over?
Well, yeah, who wouldn't be? But my company is thinking about having me sent to one of their branches in Japan within the next year or so. They said that it would be a big promotion for me and come with a commensurate pay raise. But it also sounds like once I commit to it, I'm going to be stuck over there for at least the next 20 years. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about that recently. Still not sure what I'm going to do. Now that I hear you talking about your overseas adventures, though, I don't know. Maybe it won't be so bad.
Well, I'm kind of on the opposite side of the world. But if there's anything you want to ask me about moving overseas, let me know, and I'll help however I can.
Paige, you'll be the first person I ask. Afterward, after a lot of thought and discussions with my company, I decided to accept their offer. I'm moving to Japan. Meanwhile, things aren't going so well for my sister. Max and his parents wouldn't consent to the divorce. So Tiffany's now stuck with working extremely hard to pay the money Max stole from the company along with him. She's never had a job before in her life, so she's now working awful shifts at a convenience store downtown. For their debt, they might have it paid back when they're 65. I believe that karma does works. Let's do good things so that luck will come to us. All of the thing that my sister caused harmful impact to me, now she had to suffer the worst thing more than me before, since there's no way I'm going to give them a cent. So, honestly, I'm actually kind of glad that she took that scumbag Max off my hands for me. If she hadn't, then right now I would be the one dealing with all of that. I really dodged a bullet, didn't I?
This trip will be nice. I very much look forward to it.
A trip? What do you mean? Like a day trip?
Longer than a day trip.
Well, there's no way I can go. Have you forgotten that the baby will be born this month? Only a few weeks left until that day.
How can I forget? All I see is a huge belly every day. You look like a whale. This trip without you. I told you about it. This is a trip for me. You know, with a baby coming, I wouldn't have much of a chance to escape. I had to take a chance while I could and hide for a while for my sanity.
A little bit? How long do you plan to go? And who do you go with? Friend or alone?
Is that really important? I'll go and come back. That's all you need to know.
Wait, so you won't tell me who you go with?
I will go with someone unrelated to you because you will not be on the trip. If you come, I will tell you all the details. But in this situation, you should definitely stay calm at home. I'll go on a short trip, come back, and maybe the baby will be born. I bet the timing would be perfect.
Michael, there are 7 days to go, but it's not uncommon for babies to be born prematurely. What if the baby arrives early and you are not here? Also, with the recent heavy snowfall, there's no way I could have gone to the hospital without you. I really think you should reconsider this trip.
How likely is that to happen? It's not like it's coming soon. In addition, you will be able to get to the hospital on your own. You are an adult girl.
Why are you saying something like that? Honestly, if I was really stuck, I would have to take a taxi.
Don't take a taxi. You know how expensive they are. We don't make money, you know. Just ask your friend to drive for you.
This is crazy. Honestly, why are you traveling so close to your baby's due date?
I've been planning this trip for a while now, Alicia. It was something I was really looking forward to. Now is the best time possible. Like I said, it's going to be very busy after the baby is born. Now is my only chance.
All the timing is not good at all. I wish you would take care of me and my new baby a little more. It is irresponsible to go out traveling at this time.
What do you want me to do? Foot massage? Cook dinner for you? I did all of that, and to be honest, I'm a bit tired of it. I know pregnant women need to eat, but you have really bloated. I think you have an excessive appetite.
Are you insulting me? You know I need to eat more to feed my baby, right? I guess you wouldn't know because you don't have a grown baby in your belly.
It's normal to gain a little weight, but never mind.
Have you talked to your mother yet? Looks like your dad isn't doing very well. His health really took a hit.
Yes, I know. I was talking with her.
So, you really think now is a good time for a trip?
For you and me, the sooner Dad isn't good, the sooner I get that inheritance. We talked about how good that money would be for us. Maybe we can get the hot tub you've always wanted.
What? We have never talked about anything like that?
That's one of the reasons I booked this trip. It's a pretty nice hotel. It even has champagne service.
I cannot believe it. How can you not care so? Your father is not well at all, and you have been thinking about money.
You and your mother keep telling me to save for my children, to save money for the future. Now is my only chance to save some. You also understand, don't you? All cannot be hard work, must also have some gain. If you just work without playing, it will make Michael a stupid boy.
That is selfishness. You have been so kind to me, to my mother, to everyone. You have really changed recently. Going on a lavish trip and staying in a luxury hotel when your dad is sick and you're about to have a baby? I think you need to check your head.
You don't understand me at all. I'm the one who makes money paying for the house, the food, the car, and everything. Where is the appreciation? Where is the respect? Is that too much to ask? After all I've done for you, you criticize me and complain that I did wrong. Don't you think rest is good? Work, life balance, remember?
I'm just criticizing you because what you're doing is completely inappropriate.
All right. I don't think you will understand my way of thinking. You told me to think about you more, but I think you need to reevaluate your priorities. If we get a divorce, you'll be in bad shape, Alicia. Remember that, okay?
Michael, you have really changed. I don't even know who you're going with this trip. That's not shady at all.
I told you it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with you. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I'm leaving, and there's nothing you can do to make me change my mind now. One more thing. Do you think you can lose weight after having a baby? I'm having a hard time finding your charm with that body of yours.
Shut up! You've said enough. I won't let you go on this trip. I'm calling your mother.
The next day.
What? You locked me in the warehouse? The doors are all locked?
I have to do it, Alicia. I'm sorry, but you care too much about my case. You will never let me go on this trip.
Whatever. I don't care about that trip. Get me out of here. It's cold. Snow will continue to fall tonight and could become dangerous. This is dangerous, Michael.
Well, maybe you should think about that before you start calling me by that name thoughtlessly and irresponsibly. Is there a window there? It's also insulated, so it shouldn't be that bad. Just enjoy the lovely view when it snows.
There's not even a fireplace here. You're crazy. I really can't believe you did.
Spend the night in there recollecting. Then, maybe when I come back tomorrow, you'll be able to treat me a little better. Like how a husband should be treated.
Your reasoning is quite the opposite. I really can't stand this. You locked me in our storage room with no heater, no food, nothing. I can die.
Don't overreact, Alicia. You'll be fine. Just take a moment to think, and I really feel that you will have a better understanding of all I have to offer our family once you get out of this. And hope you will respect me a little bit. Remember, a good wife should listen and obey her husband. That's how she learned to act and behave in public. That is common knowledge.
Okay, Michael. I'm thinking about what you said, and I think I can understand. You just want a little more respect, and I feel appreciated. I understand that. It is a very normal human emotion. I can certainly relate. So please lay out of here. Honestly, it's getting really cold.
Huh. I just said I'll be back tomorrow. You can spend a little more time thinking about it. I'm already out the door. Actually, I came to see my friend quite late. I should have been at the meeting point a long time ago.
Are you serious? Are you going to leave me in the warehouse? What the hell happened to you?
Take your time to think, and I'll be back tomorrow, okay? See you later.
Michael! This is not safe for the baby. Think about the baby.
A few minutes later.
Alicia, how do you feel? I know your baby's due date, so I thought I'd call. But I need to let you know that Robert is not doing very well. I think it's best for you and Michael to come here tonight just to see him. I sent a message to Michael, but for some reason he didn't reply.
Mom, thanks God. I need your help. I'm in the barn outside our house. You have to get the key and get me out of here quick.
What? Where's Michael? Is he not with you?
No, he doesn't. He has been traveling. I will tell you later. Now you just have to come here.
What? You mean the outside warehouse? You will freeze in there. A trip at a time like this? This is crazy.
Yes, he's talking about inheritance. That's why he decided to stay at a high-class hotel. I really don't know who he went with. He didn't tell me.
Oh my God. Did my son do that? I'm so sorry, Alicia. I'm ashamed to hear that.
Mom, my phone's battery is about to run out. It's too cold. My fingers were cramped. It's hard to type messages.
I'm sorry. Alicia, I'll come.
Please come quickly. I can't stand it anymore.
Okay, I'm leaving now. I will also bring Alan. He can help if we have any problems. Is the gate open? We'll be able to get in, right? Alicia, are you there? Alicia!
The next day.
I'm on my way back. After we talked yesterday morning, I haven't heard from you. What happened? I thought about it then. Locking you up in a warehouse can be a bit overwhelming. I'm sorry about that. I'm just a little impatient. How's it going? You need to know how to respect me.
Go home, Michael. Right away. We are all waiting for you.
Huh? All who are waiting for me, Alicia. What's wrong?
This is not Alicia, Michael. I'm your mother. I know what you did. Lock your pregnant wife in the barn. In a blizzard, nothing more, nothing less. What were your thoughts on traveling at the moment? Honestly, I have no words to tell you.
Mom, why are you using Alicia's phone?
Michael, you need to take responsibility for what you did. This time, you really messed up, and I really don't know how you're going to get rid of it.
Is everything okay with Alicia? Nothing bad happened, right? And all who are gathered at home? What happened?
Stop. Go home now. I will explain the situation to you after you get here. I don't want to say that over the phone. The whole family is here, Michael. They know what you did. How did you travel right when your father was seriously ill? They all knew how he locked his pregnant wife in that barn.
Listen, Mom, I have a good reason for all this. You don't even know the whole story. Don't jump to conclusions and mislead people now.
Okay, well, you're here, we can talk. Direct way. Anyway, we are all waiting for you to come here. Come early.
2 days after.
Alicia, are you okay? I was so anxious. I am very happy that everything is fine.
Huh? What do you want? Don't pretend to worry about me. I don't need your fake sympathy.
I'm not just saying it. I'm really worried. I kept thinking about you even after I took that trip.
Oh, is that so? That's why you ignore messages from me and your family? You must have been very worried.
No, I'll answer. Just a bad signal. I really want to, believe me.
Wow, your tone has changed. However, it was too late. Perhaps if you had actually checked your phone, you would have been able to say goodbye to your father in a kind way. You don't know that he passed away just hours after you were traveling? You missed your last chance to say goodbye to him?
I know. I went to my parents' house and the whole family was waiting there. They are all really sad. The atmosphere is so gloomy.
You don't seem disinterested about it.
Unreasonable. I care a lot. Like I care about you too. By the way, how is the baby?
I told you, don't ask about me. How was your outing with Edna?
Huh. What are you talking about?
That's the one you went with, right? Edna? I think so. When your father passed away, your mother called the hotel to see you, and the hotel staff gave her your partner's name.
Why did she call the hotel? It was supposed to be my own trip. Why does she interfere in my business? Besides, it was a business trip. Edna is my colleague and we met clients there.
Oh, yes. So that's why you say you deserve to have fun. You need some time. Not to mention the champagne service. That really sounds like very busy.
You don't know, Alicia. You were not there. I did a lot of work.
It's not important. We're getting divorced.
What? You didn't mean that, did you?
Last week, you really showed your true self. I found out who you really are. A person who is heartless and only cares about himself. Locked me up in the warehouse, not answering the family's phone calls when my father was seriously ill. Unforgivable.
But you're pregnant with our baby, Alicia. We're going to start a family as we've always talked about.
Why would I want to start a family with a piece of trash like you? To me, you're dead, Michael.
Well, I admit that locking you up in a warehouse can be a bit overwhelming. I never thought it would drop below zero, which was a real surprise for me. So, like I said, I'm really glad you're okay.
It's too late to apologize. Your words are meaningless. Anyway, I'm not pregnant with your baby anymore.
What? What happened to the child?
No, the baby was born. I don't tell you where. You are not allowed to see it.
What? Why don't you tell me such an important thing? Remember, it's my child as well as yours. I deserve to know.
Do you deserve to know? Okay, why don't you stay home to see the baby being born? Oh yes, you cheated on me with your colleague. I don't care. After this, we'll get a divorce, and I'll do my best to raise this baby. Alone?
What? As a father, I asked to see him.
It is a little girl. After the divorce is over, you need to pay child support. I already have a list of other expenses that I will have my attorney review. Raising kids as a single mom isn't easy, but it's better than raising them with you.
Alicia, is this some kind of joke? If this is true, I really can't stand it. I need to see her. She is my daughter.
It is not a joke. This shouldn't be a surprise to you. Your mother also completely understands. She is on my side in this.
My mother? Why is she involved in this? You should tell me first.
Well, after you locked me in that barn, I had to ask your mom and brother to let me out. Luckily, they saved me before I froze there, and then I talked to your mother for a long time. We discussed the really thoughtless things you did, and she decided to remove your name from the will.
What? Remove my name from the will? Stop it! What are you talking about, Alicia? It was supposed to be my inheritance, but you screwed it up. I really will get you back for this.
Is that a threat? Anyway, don't blame me. It is your family's decision. They decided together as far as I know.
No. I have the right to take that money. I am his biological son. What the hell? How could it be like this?
The family has come to a decision, and I think it's a fair decision considering what you've done. Your mother is also very thoughtful about giving you a small amount of money to support your child. She was completely heartbroken by the whole situation. That is completely understandable.
Alicia, let's talk about this. This whole situation is spiraling out of control.
I don't want to hear your annoying voice again. You have to be alone for a long time and think about what you have done. Live in that barn, you heartless bastard.
After that, after giving birth to a beautiful baby girl, I contacted Michael's mother, who prevented Michael from going to the hospital and seeing the newborn baby. After that, I decided to spend time with my family. My parents helped me a lot in taking care of the baby. On the other hand, Michael was really shocked by the fact that he didn't get anything from his father's inheritance. But what's even worse is that after this situation, his whole family ignores his calls and texts. Predictably, the woman Michael dated on that tour discovered he was married and immediately dumped him. Rumors spread to his office, making the atmosphere so bad that he chose to quit and find a new job in the countryside. There he lived a lonely life, unable to see his young daughter or family again.
I have to tell you, darling, that this new perspective I'm experimenting with is truly life-changing. To be successful in business, you must be willing to advocate for yourself. Consider today. I was the only one who got home on time. I'm not doing overtime.
Have all of your coworkers stayed late to work overtime?
Yes. Unfortunately for them, they will never be successful business leaders like me.
But don't you get a raise if you work extra hours? You could make more money if you worked overtime like the others. That's great, isn't it?
Are you remembering the TV show we watched the other day? That story about the trading company employee who worked his way to the top. He even stated that working overtime is not a good strategy to advance in the firm. When you think about it, working endless hours for a small sum of money is absurd. It's not a good use of your time or energy. That documentary really motivated me. After hearing about that guy's accomplishment, I felt compelled to distinguish myself by refusing to work overtime.
Is this truly groundbreaking? You never worked overtime before this change of heart, did you?
Basically, my feelings have shifted from previously, I guess before I didn't give it much thought and just went about my business, obeying every instruction that my boss gave me. But now I see that overtime is unnecessary for a winner, a high performance, and a great company leader like myself.
Vivian, what are your thoughts? Isn't it amazing?
Well, anything.
You ought to be overjoyed. To think you could marry a successful businessman like me. Isn't city life great?
You're also acting as though you're not from a little town. Your town is even smaller than mine.
I wish you would refrain from mentioning my hometown. I've advanced. That dull town is nothing more to me than a stepping stone to where I am now. The city is full of opportunities. Don't you understand?
How can you speak so negatively about your hometown? Remember, it's where your parents reared you.
Shut up. You're going to get me worked up all over again. I was born in a dung heap, but I was reborn in the city.
Your organs and background shape who you are now. Are you not aware of it? You can't just dismiss your hometown as unimportant. What would your parents think if they found out you were dumping on their town in that manner?
Oh my, you've done it again. I'm off on another of your standing up for the countryside rants. You should get to know the city a little better. We'll be here for quite some time.
I don't mind living here. You're completely missing the idea.
Remember that first time we met in that bar? Despite being raised in such a small area, I was taken by how attractive you were. Then, as soon as we married, you reverted to your country girl self, putting your feet up on the couch and always dressing in not-so-cute clothes. To be honest, I was astounded.
After we were married, I left my work. It's only normal for someone to unwind when they've finished working. After all, you're the one who suggested I quit my job to take care of the house.
Yes, the primary responsibility of any decent lady in the city is to care for the home. Our house would be in shambles if you didn't stay at home.
Are you serious now?
People who do that are all struggling to make ends meet. If they could have their way, I'm sure they'd want the male to be the primary breadwinner. That's why we created it. I've got you covered, baby.
What? That is something I'm not sure about. I believe that the majority of women enjoy working and pursuing a career. Kiva, for example, she's doing quite well.
Kiva? Isn't she a school teacher? Not really a top earner, in my opinion.
She is really fond of children. Besides, it's a steady employment with possibilities for advancement.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to stay late at work anymore. My boss will then notice my bravery and have no choice but to elevate me.
You can do whatever you want. The next day.
How are things going, Vivian? I hope my brother isn't causing too much problems for you.
Hello, Sophie. He's a touch delusional, but what else is new?
What is he on about now?
He has stated that he does not wish to work overtime anymore. Is it something to do with his desire to be his own boss? Or something along those lines?
Sounds like something he'd say. Oh, and thanks so much for assisting me in finding a new apartment last week. I'm very pleased with the choice we made. It's not only convenient to my new office, but the neighborhood appears to be very safe. Not to mention that the rent is really inexpensive for the region.
I'm so thrilled you found a nice spot. Life in the city may require some adjustment, but I believe you will be all right. Just don't stay out too late every weekend.
I won't, perhaps a little at first. But honestly, Vivian, I'm glad for your assistance in locating this location in the city. I stayed with my parents in Fairview while finishing off college. They were truly opposed to my study of law.
That is odd. What was their objection?
They advised me to simply wait and marry into a wealthy family. They always said there were plenty of good males nearby. It was truly infuriating. Why would I want to marry an old wealthy man? It's far more thrilling for me to pursue my own job and make my own money. So, finally being in the city feels fantastic.
I'm delighted you were finally able to make it. You're going to do fantastically well.
I'd also like to thank you for advising me on what to say to persuade them to let me go. They expected me to stay for a month or two, run out of money, and then return to Fairview. But with your assistance, I refused to take no for an answer, and they reluctantly let me go.
I'm delighted I could assist, but it was your persuasion that caused them to agree. Felix wasn't thrilled that I got involved in your guys' family affairs, but whatever.
I'm very sorry, but it was all worth it. I'm here now, owing to you in large part. My parents may believe I'll be broke in a month, but I'm not going to let that happen. I'm staying in the city, and I'm not going back to that small town.
Congratulations, Sophie.
How is Felix doing? You mentioned that he's a little deluded, but not too terrible, right?
Talking to him can be difficult at times. He has really melancholy ways. You are most likely aware of this.
Yes, he has a reputation for being obstinate. I deeply regret this. Do you want me to make an attempt to talk to him?
Don't be alarmed. I wed him. I know what I agreed to. I'm hoping he'll change his mind.
Could I ask you a private question?
Sure, go ahead.
Why did you get married to him?
That's an excellent question. I guess I did believe it was fate. I believe we met at the right time. However, I believe I've always wished to assist him. He looked to have so much potential, you know. But now I'm not so sure.
Please let me know if he says anything out of the ordinary. You have helped me so much that the least I can do is try to aid my own brother.
Thank you so much, Sophie. That means a lot to me. I suppose I simply wish he was more self-aware. I'm still hopeful.
Our family had a total of 6 children. Felix was the 5th kid in our family, and I was the youngest. Our 4 oldest brothers are still farming in Fairview. Our parents assumed Felix would work in agriculture as well, with me marrying one of the area's affluent landowners.
I believe he told me that once.
He always wanted to live in the city, and even when he worked in agriculture, he was always looking for a means to move out of our small village. But when he was 32, he finally obtained a low-paying city office job and used it to get away.
That's probably why he has no idea how things work here. He was always seeking for an easy way out of town. If only he'd accepted your advice and built a solid foundation before moving.
He's always had one thing on his mind. So, if he begins to act strangely, you notify me, okay?
What exactly do you mean by unusual?
I recently overheard him conversing on the phone with our other brother. I overheard him mention something about how well he was doing that the ladies couldn't get their hands off of him. Or something like that.
What a ridiculous thing to say. I'm sure a slew of ladies are eager to date a lazy like him.
Vivian, I'm not sure how much of it is genuine, but he appears to be seeing a woman at work. During their lunch breaks, they spend a lot of time together.
Are you certain?
Yes, that's what I overheard. I sincerely apologize. That's why I phoned. I couldn't seem to get the words out.
Really?
I haven't seen anything personally, so I can't be certain if it's true. Besides, he always says things like that to make himself seem important. Who knows? It could all be a hoax.
In any case, thank you for informing me. That reminds me of something. Felix just finished watching a documentary on a successful company employee. It drew his attention. Cheating, according to the guy in the movie, is a method to demonstrate status in the business. His face was blurred in the documentary, so I suppose he thought he could speak freely about such matters.
Felix may do so if he discovers someone idolized in this manner.
Make an attempt to be. Take on his persona, for example.
Exactly.
So whether it's real or not, I need to act.
So do I. Whatever you require, I'm here to help.
Thanks. 1 week later.
Recently, I've been thinking, I don't think you're thankful enough. People who are unappreciative, in my opinion, never advance in life. You should keep that in mind.
What?
At my workplace, there's this chick. She always appreciates me when I assist her.
What does that have to do with anything?
Every day, I do so much for you, but I never hear you thank me. Isn't that strange? How come you're so oblivious to how this relationship works? I make enough money to support both of us, and as a result, you can live this carefree life. You must begin to express your gratitude in words. I'm going to keep track of how many times you thank me for all I've done every day. That'll help you recall.
That's a lot of words for someone who makes less than $2,000 a month.
What do you mean?
$2,000 is a large sum.
Who was that person in the documentary? He received the same pay.
Aren't they the same? He was earning $2,000 each day, not monthly.
$2,000 per day?
I know you're not from the city, but I had no idea you were that dumb. Sophie, your sister, understands how things work in the real world better than you do. I believe she has a far greater chance than you.
Sophie? What is her significance? This is about you failing to recognize my efforts.
You're aware that she relocated here, correct?
She did, but I'm sure she'll be crawling back to where she started in a week.
Do you know how much her starting salary is at her new job? It's nearly twice as much as yours.
You're deceiving me.
You remember how she worked so hard at university all those years? She did really pass the bar test. Now that she has a foot in the door at a law firm, who knows how far she will go?
Do you mean she's a lawyer?
She despised the inequality she encountered as a child in that little community and pledged as a lawyer to protect women from violence and harassment. She not only made a strategy, but she also got a job as a junior lawyer at a law firm. Your sister has a lot to teach you.
Really? Sophie never told me she had it in her.
She claimed that her brothers didn't treat her with much respect around the house, which contributed to her determination to achieve in school. Instead of being resentful or angry, she values the lessons she learned throughout those years. Isn't he mature?
You're not as familiar with Sophie as I am. She's not all that bright. In that law firm, she won't last a month. I'm not sure how you could have been convinced by someone as foolish as her. Maybe it's because you're all so stupid. If I had taken the bar exam, I would have passed on my first attempt. I just elected not to go that route.
You need to stop calling people names. Maybe you should contact me after you've accomplished something noteworthy.
It was only a joke, you know. But, Vivian, you really shouldn't be chatting to Sophie. She's going to disrupt our lives. That's not something we'd want, is it?
This life we created, we hardly have enough money to cover our rent each month. Your wage will not suffice in this city. That is why I want to get a divorce.
What? What? On what basis? Since we got married, I've done nothing but provide for you. I'm not going to accept a woman like you attempting to force a divorce on me. I'm not going to say anything.
I did some investigation. The other employees' base monthly wage at your company is smaller than yours, but by putting in a lot of overtime hours, they increase it to well over $3,000. With that mindset, a guy like you will never make it. You don't put in any effort and expect us to pass you by? Get a handle on yourself.
Are they really making that much money?
I suppose a little overtime wouldn't hurt, just for now.
I'm not done. You share an office with a 20-year-old, a mother on her alone.
Okay, so?
Apparently, you meet her in secret during your breaks.
That is the word on the street, so to speak.
Are you insane? Where did you get the information?
That isn't everything. You're apparently also giving her gifts in the back room. Bags, for example, or even money. Given your already modest pay, this is rather foolish.
I'm not sure what you're on about. Anyone who told you that is lying?
Sophie overheard you discussing it with your brother over the phone. But just to be sure, I hired a private investigator.
Sophie will have to keep a close eye on herself. What is she thinking spreading rumors about me? I was only talking to my brother, that's all. Brothers occasionally like to brag to each other. It was all a performance. You didn't employ an investigator, did you?
I'm sure you're also putting on a show.
I work with a woman who looks like that, but she's completely unattractive. In addition, she works on a separate floor, so I rarely see her. If you have any evidence, please provide it to me.
I did speak with her. Fiona was her name, I believe. She even provided me with hard evidence.
No way.
I informed her of the problem. She didn't seem to realize you were married. She apologized and stated that she would never have done it if she had known. Anyway, I have screenshots of your messaging threads. Some of the things you spoke to each other. I must say, appropriate.
She just handed over chats like that?
She was sympathetic to the situation and eager to assist me.
I knew I couldn't put my trust in that tramp. What made her give so easily? In the documentary, that guy's girlfriend kept her lips locked, as a good woman should.
I understand why you wanted to come to the city, but you didn't put forth any effort. What did you actually expect to achieve by acting like this?
Who do you think you are? You're from a tiny village like mine, but you act like you've made it big in the metropolis. You haven't worked a single day since moving here.
Well, I'd say I'm actually doing fairly well. I've been doing freelance web design work from home for a time now. The pay is adequate. Well, if you believe $10,000 per month to be adequate...
10 grand?
Isn't that great? I'm just a country bumpkins, so I'm not sure.
You've been making $10,000 per month all along. Why wouldn't you tell me?
It's extremely unfortunate. I'm sure we might have had a bright future together, but I guess it wasn't meant to be.
Are you serious about getting divorced, Vivian? This is easily remedied. I'll start working extra hours. I acknowledge that I was conceited.
I have proof of you cheating, thus trust is essentially gone. Besides, I've had enough of your obstinacy, not to mention your outdated perspectives on women's roles in society.
You're not going to do it, are you? To be honest, I am adaptable.
By the way, the flat we've been renting is $3,500 per month.
$3,500? For such a small area?
That is the local market value. Actually reasonable. We moved into my apartment after being married, but I continued to pay the rent on my own. We couldn't afford with just your salary.
$3,500. It's impossible for me to believe. Are all places this pricey?
There are less expensive options. You may have to venture a little outside of the city. Fairview may be a viable choice.
Let's simply settle down and talk about it, Vivian. I'll bring you your favorite red wine, the one with the yellow pig on the label. Then we can listen to some jazz and converse. I'm going straight home.
I'm afraid that's too late. I'll need you out of the house before the end of the week. Don't be alarmed. I've already scheduled a vehicle to pick up your belongings on Friday, so please have them ready. By then, I'll be staying at Sophie's apartment for a few nights, but we'll keep in touch to get everything in shape for the divorce.
Please, Vivian.
Felix, it's funny. You arrived to the big metropolis with big plans only to fall flat on your face. However, one of your predictions came true.
What exactly was it?
Unappreciative people never advance in life. I suppose it's true. After that, Felix moved out of the flat the following week and began looking for a new place to live. However, he discovered that the city was rather pricey, which surprised him. He began sleeping at a downtown youth hostel and stored his possessions in a storage locker. However, after arriving at work unshaven and exhausted, his manager decided it was time to fire him. Felix unwillingly returned to his hometown, his hopes of making it big in the metropolis dashed. His parents, thankfully, agreed to let him return home as long as he helped them with the farm. Chores. Felix struggled to fit in his hometown after his reputation as someone who lost everything, attempting to make it in the big city. As a result, he was unable to remarry and spent his days in Fairview alone, living with his old parents.
Harry, are you there, Harry? I have something I need to discuss with you. Please respond as soon as possible.
Sorry, but I don't have time to discuss right now. Very busy.
Busy? What do you mean? You gotta leave the house. Isn't it true that you're a full-time housewife or something?
No, I've told you several times that I work from home. And before you ask, my husband and I make around the same amount of money.
First and foremost, who said I was going to ask? And two, I seriously doubt it. I mean, isn't he a manager at one of the Fortune 500 companies or something? Are you seriously claiming that you earn the same as someone with that job? If that's the case, you must be awash in cash over there, don't you? You had better be lying or something because it's true. I'm so jealous right now. Could you please share some of that with me? I'd like a weekly stipend, you know.
What do you mean? Is this related to why you messaged me in the first place?
Oh, please. I know you have more money than you can handle. Why can't I get some as well?
Maybe because we worked extremely hard to earn the money we have. I mean, I know you had that part-time job in high school, but have you ever worked since then?
That's exactly what I mean. That's why I require funds. Furthermore, my boyfriend and I want to go on a trip, and we need money to do so.
Then do what we did. Get a job, work hard, save up, and then take your trip.
Are you certain? But that's so boring. That's something I'd never do.
Are you saying that having a job is boring? I don't disagree with you, but I'm concerned about your future if that's how you envision working.
That's because I'm going to marry wealthy and never have to bother about such trivial matters.
What? Is that your intention? Just marry a wealthy person? Have you ever considered that someone so wealthy could want someone who is equally motivated to work and succeed?
What? And are you implying that I'm not that the person or something?
I know you don't have a job, and I'm very sure you never do any housework, and you're preparing food. You recall what occurred the last time you attempted to make anything for the family, don't you? After one bite, we all decided to order takeout.
You said you weren't going to bring it up. That isn't fear?
Remember that nutritious dish you tried to cook once? It was the stew into which you had just put a whole bottle of vinegar and that awful health powder. That was a classic for sure. But in any case, I think my point was that you probably don't cook much at home either.
It wasn't the entire bottle, you understand? After all, we'll just employ a maid for all of that, so problem solved.
Yes, you are quite right. Okay, do what you want. Anyway, I have some clients to deal with, so I can't text any longer. See ya.
That's okay. I was going to come over to your house anyhow to hang out.
What? Do you mean now? Sorry for the inconvenience, but I have a couple of pals coming over tonight. Okay, let's meet up another time.
Don't worry, I don't mind. They won't disturb me at all.
That wasn't my concern. I'll be the one bothered.
I already stated that everything will be all right. I'll see you in a moment.
In the afternoon.
Stella, did you come over and drive the Ferrari parked in my driveway? I need to know right now, so please respond.
What's all the fuss about? Why are you so agitated? It's all right. My boyfriend and I simply thought it would be fun to ride it for a while.
Driving for a while?
Yep. The wind and sun are simply wonderful.
And where did you obtain the keys to that car, may I ask?
Well, while I was leaving yours, I noticed the key case sitting in a bag and just kind of helped myself.
You simply rummaged through a bag you discovered at my house?
It wasn't just any bag, it was yours. And since we're sisters, what's yours is mine, you know?
That bag wasn't mine, Stella. I don't have anything like that.
Oh, you're serious? Oh, well, I guess it doesn't really matter who had the bag. Who could possibly be concerned about such little issues when the keys to a Ferrari are there in front of you?
So you should start worrying about them now.
Anyway, my boyfriend and I wanted to act like we were on a honeymoon, so we took it. We'll return in a few days.
You took the car so you two could go on a fictitious honeymoon?
That is exactly what I stated. And this guy says he goes to Harvard, so you know he'll be okay for the rest of his life. Maybe one day we'll get married. Of course, if that were the case, we could spend our honeymoon overseas. I can see myself traveling the world with my new hubby staying in opulent hotels. Doesn't it sound dreamy? And now we get to do it in this Ferrari? I never imagined this would happen to me in 1,000 years. I guess this is the day to ask him what he thinks about, getting married.
Stop bragging about your phony honeymoon and return that car immediately.
Yuck. Calm down.
Stella, it's not a game. I'm not kidding.
Why do you continually want to ruin my fun? Why haven't you told me you have such a cool car? Why did I only discover this today?
Stella, that's not my car.
Wait, are you certain? Isn't that not your vehicle?
No, it belonged to one of my pals, who was at my house at the time you arrived.
You're not referring to that one incredibly poor person, are you?
That lady is not in the least bit poor.
So if she was truly wealthy enough to afford this car, why wasn't she wearing any costly clothes or jewelry when I was there?
Because she is the type of person who prefers to spend money on automobiles rather than clothing.
Oh, I see what you're up to. I understand you didn't want to lend me the automobile, but there's no reason to lie to me about who actually owns it.
I literally can't deal with you right now. Please return the automobile right away.
Sorry. We've already reached the freeway, and I believe it's a little late for that now.
The expressway? Where do you intend to take it?
Don't be concerned. Paul is an excellent driver. Everything will be okay.
Has he ever driven a vehicle like that before?
He claims it's his first time.
And you drove it on the highway?
I know. Isn't it amazing?
Please bring that car right now, okay?
We're okay. After all, we'll need this car to travel around on our fictitious honeymoon.
Stella, this isn't a game. I'm not kidding.
Oh, and I also borrowed your credit card.
What did you do?
Why didn't you inform me about that, too? I had no idea you had a black card. I thought they just awarded those to celebrities and other renowned individuals.
What do you mean by black card? I don't have a black card.
It's not good to keep lying to your younger sister-like way.
I'm serious.
Anyway, we'll be taking your card as well as your automobile for a short adventure. We already used the card to acquire a lot of clothes and other items for our trip. And of course, we didn't skimp on the branded items. I believe we've already spent maybe $20,000 or so.
You've already spent $20,000 on that card?
Yeah, and it doesn't appear that we've even begun to scratch the surface of what this card is capable of. Who knew a black card could be used for so much? You're persistent. I'm trying to enjoy my phony honeymoon here, so I'm going to block you until we return.
Stella, please don't.
A few hours later.
Hurry! Take out your phone. There's an emergency. I'm not kidding.
What are you looking for?
I no longer had access to your credit card. It had ceased to function. Was it a forgery?
Was the black card you stole a forgery?
Yeah, Paul and I are attempting to check into our hotel, but our credit card is not being accepted. We had them attempt multiple times, but they said the payment was not accepted. That suggests the card was a forgery, right? Oh no, what shall we do?
Stella, you won't be able to use that card because the owner has frozen it.
What? They had the card frozen?
Yes, it's that thing where you call the credit card company and ask them to halt any further purchases on that card.
I know what it means to freeze a card. However, if the card is frozen, we won't be able to check into our hotel. And the room I reserved was supposed to be one of the greatest suites on the property.
Perhaps you could make the reservation with your own money instead.
But we just have a small amount of cash right now.
I see. And if it was a hotel suite, I'm sure it was expensive. Perhaps you could just go to the bank and withdraw some money to pay the deposit?
On this vacation, I didn't bring any of my credit cards.
Wow, are you certain?
I have to because I was planning on your card instead. That is why I need you to go right now and unfreeze the card. Please.
Look, I attempted to clarify previously, but that car is not mine.
But was that a lie?
Stella, please open your eyes. Examine the card. What is the inscription on it? Is my name Henry?
But I thought I had checked it out before taking it.
Let's be honest. You can barely read at a 4th grade level, so don't act like literacy is your strong point.
Don't be so rude. I understand how to read.
Take out the card, bring it up to your face, and reread the name printed on it.
That, however, is not possible. I only glanced at it and assumed it said Harry, but it actually says Henry. And the surnames are identical. How is this possible?
Isn't that an amazing coincidence? In fact, we became friends because we have nearly same names. We joked that if we were a pair, it would be difficult to tell a support on paper.
So there. Who exactly is Henry?
Why don't you ask your guy about her?
Why would Paul recognize her?
Just ask him, please.
What the hell is going on? When I asked him about Henry, he grabbed the car keys from my grasp and bolted out the door.
15 minutes later.
Hey, Stella, did you eventually capture Paul?
Well, that is something you could say. However, the truth is that he simply crashed the Ferrari.
What exactly do you mean he crashed it?
He got carried away, pushed on the gas, and drove directly into the parking lot barrier as he was attempting to flee. The front of the automobile was dented, but Paul was unharmed.
Do you understand what you just did?
What's the big deal about it? I simply do not understand you. Just take it to the mechanic, right? You're always freaking out about the smallest things. It drives me insane. Like an elder sibling, which you have to allow me make mistakes now and again.
I'm pleased your boyfriend is fine, okay? But this isn't a minor blunder. Furthermore, have you determined why your boyfriend panicked and attempted to flee when you confronted him about Henry?
Oh, actually, I forgot about that now that you mention it. But, in any case, couldn't you just tell me what's going on?
Henry's younger brother's name is Paul.
What's your name? That's something I had no idea about.
Do you recall that one time? I'm not sure when, but there was this dinner party I was going to that you weren't invited to but sneaked in anyway. So, isn't that where you initially met Paul?
What does that have to do with anything? Wait, was that Paul's sister's house?
Yes, it was. Anyway, you might have heard from Paul, but Henry and him have an odd relationship. That's why he probably freaked out when you told him the cards you just borrowed belonged to his elder sister, Henry.
That implies that the automobile? Is it also Henry's?
That's exactly what I've been trying to tell you. She owns both the car and the card.
Can you repeat everything?
Okay, I'll try to explain everything from the beginning once more. I didn't own the Ferrari you were driving or the black credit card you were using. Henry is the owner of everything I just mentioned.
Wait, so then, her own younger brother has no idea what kind of car she drives?
She only got the car approximately 3 days ago. I doubt Paul even realized she possessed it in the first place. That's what Henry is saying right now.
Is Henry present?
Yep.
Is she even mad?
In fact, I would describe her as insane. And after using her card to buy $20,000 worth of garbage, not to mention the expenses you'll have to pay to send the car to a specialist who works with foreign cars, you're definitely looking at least $100,000 in damages.
$100,000?
And that is the most you might owe at the end of this. That is why Henry has been enraged since this morning. Who knows what she'll do to you both when you return? She's had a very scary expression on her face all day, and it's starting to creep me out. I'd be worried.
Is it that bad?
Yes, it appears so. And there's one more thing.
After all that, what else could you possibly want?
We received a call from the hotel where you were attempting to check in.
You got a call from the hotel? What did they want to discuss?
Henry's husband, on the other hand, runs a resort company. And because he's close to the hotel's owner, he got a call right away when someone using his wife's card arrived up.
Wait, what are you trying to say? What do you intend to say next?
I'm on my way. Anyway, I think the cops turned up to the hotel to question Henry's husband about who this guy with his wife's card was, and if they intended to take legal action. I mean, I won't lie. She's hardly the kind of lady you want as an adversary. Anyway, I've got to go. See you later.
After that, Stella and Paul returned home looking like dead men walking after dealing with a wrecked automobile. Henry was, of course, waiting for them in a swiveling chair we had so she could whirl around and greet them spectacularly. As the two of them knelt to ask her forgiveness, Henry removed an envelope from her breast pocket and handed it to them. A bill for $70,000 was found inside. There were, of course, the items purchased with her stolen card, as well as the estimated cost of the Ferrari repairs. However, near the end of the list were the repairs to the hotel parking lot fence, which was destroyed in the accident. Henry told them they should be grateful she didn't call the cops on them. Stella is currently employed at one of Henry's husband's resorts. Meanwhile, Paul had to drop out of college and find work at a company run by Henry's acquaintance. She made sure to wish them both luck in repaying every penny they owed. She still visits the two of them on a regular basis. I believe she derives some sick satisfaction from seeing them both labor so hard for what they did to her.
Emma, don't forget to send me the money of his inheritance.
I'm sorry.
Is this you, Helen?
Yes, I am.
My apologies, but we only crossed paths earlier today, correct? I'm Emma. Please ensure you're sending your message to the correct person. What do you mean by the inheritance?
I know that you are indeed Emma. I attended the funeral earlier, so that I got your contact information. Therefore, I'm certain that I'm sending my messages to the right person. This message is for you.
All right, it appears to be you. We met each other only 2 hours ago, and this is your initial message to me.
So what? Don't beat around the bush.
All right, in that case, allow me to share this with you. Along with several relatives and others, I share the sentiment that wearing a vivid red dress to the funeral was highly inappropriate. You should consider choosing a more suitable attire for a funeral as a gesture of respect.
However, Louis loves vibrant colors. I believe he would have appreciated it. That's why I wore that dress on that occasion. If you believe you are smarter than me, please cut it out. It's useless. I understand him than you or anyone else did.
Can you confirm that you're referring to Liam?
Louis. Oh no, I mean Liam, yes. I often call him Louis.
The Liam I'm familiar with would never have favored red, as you mentioned. It simply doesn't suit his personality.
Anyway, I don't want to waste my time on this anymore. Let's back to my earlier point about the inheritance money. Where is it? And when can I expect you to send it?
All right, let's resolve this. Before we proceed, allow me to ask you this question. Why should I be sending you Liam's inheritance money? We've only crossed paths 2 hours ago, and I'm not familiar with who you are. To be honest, your behavior towards me is rather impolite.
I believe I deserve money.
What's your reason?
I'm pregnant with his child.
Excuse me?
Well, I'm obviously the one who could get that money. Who else will raise his child? And who will provide financial support until he is old enough to work?
Wait a minute. It's a boy, isn't it? It's absurd, and I find it hard to believe. I'm skeptical of what you're saying, too.
Emma, I apologize for having to share this news in such a manner. While you may be his wife, it's obvious that I held significance in his life. I'm carrying his child. Did you notice my belly earlier? I'm not lying. Don't you get it?
So, this is the crux of the matter?
What? Are you paying attention to me? What do you mean? I hold importance. I require his inheritance for his child.
Well, okay, Helen. Hypothetically speaking, even if you were entitled to access his money, you wouldn't receive the entirety of it.
Why not?
Well, let's delve into this hypothetical situation. What if he had other lovers and other children with them? I mean, let's be realistic. You might not be the only woman he was involved with secretly.
I see.
In that case, all of you would need to divide the money among yourselves, correct? It wouldn't be fair for you to claim all of his money, right? There are other women and children involved.
Right. What surprises me is your apparent composure and disregard for this. I anticipated a more emotional and, dare I say, crazy wife-like reaction. It makes me wonder if you knew of his involvement with me behind your back.
No, I'm merely discussing a hypothetical situation. I'm not even convinced that he was involved with you or any other woman. My husband has been loyal to me.
Anyway, I require that money, regardless of the distribution.
Well, I'm already entitled to half of it, so you should be aware of that.
What? You're receiving half of his inheritance? This must be a joke.
Of course, I'm his wife. Even though he passed away, I'm still his wife. Not only that, but his will also specified that.
So now can we make a deal?
A deal for you to get our money? No way.
Why not? Because I'm the reason he has a next of kin. Without me and this baby, his family line would end. You and your family should be thankful to me.
That's a bit much, don't you think? I don't even have proof this child is his.
You'll find out once he's born. It's clearly his baby.
How do you know?
Ultrasound photos, obviously.
Sorry, what do you mean?
They look alike in the ultrasound photos.
So, does the ultrasound prove it's Liam's child?
Yes, you're dumb.
I don't have words for this. And you're calling me dumb?
I can't deal with an idiot like you. Why didn't he mention us in his will? God, he really hated writing stuff like that, huh?
What are you talking about?
Never mind. Okay, so now you don't need to send me the entire money. Just send me $10. I need that amount to take care of myself and his son throughout pregnancy. That's all I'm asking.
What? You're asking for then thousands dollars?
Yes, and look, as I said, I don't have time for this. I have to go for a prenatal appointment right now. We'll catch up on this later, okay?
Oh my God, this is hilarious. 1 month later.
Are you playing games with me, Emma? Why are you ignoring all messages? I know you've read them.
So what? That doesn't mean you can get what you wanted, Helen. That was too much for me.
I have no idea what you mean.
You threw paints at my house? Maybe you don't know that my house has a camera installed outside the door.
Excuse me? I told you I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm telling you, you were caught on our security camera. You have stained our house, seriously. Why would you do that? Are you crazy?
Okay, fine. I underestimated the security cameras, and I forgot how wealthy your husband was.
That's not the point. I was covered in paint when I opened the door, thanks to you.
At least you're alive, unlike your husband. If he didn't die, none of this would happen. So blame him, not me.
How can you say that about someone who passed away? Anyway, I reported it to the police. Be prepared to tell the police everything. I'm sure that you must send me back the money to get the doors repaired. And of course, there's no money in the will for you. You won't get a dime, even if you tried.
What? Why? I'm carrying your husband's child?
Just because you think the ultrasound looks like him, it's not proof it's really his child.
Well, you're not a mother, so how would you know?
This is crazy. Look, just prove it with a DNA test, okay? That's all it takes.
Fine. If that's what it takes, then I'll do it, and prove it to you.
Okay, great.
I'm certain it's his child.
So, you're that confident it's his?
Yes, of course.
You do realize that's nonsense, right?
No, it's possible. Except that he had an affair behind your back and got me pregnant.
Why should I believe someone like you? You showed up at our family funeral and make crazy claims.
No, I'm telling the truth.
So, that's why you've been telling everyone in my neighborhood you're his lover? I know what you've been doing. Some of them are my relatives too. They live around here, and they've certainly told me about what you've been saying.
Well, if they're your relatives, then they should also know the truth, don't they?
Stop ruining his reputation and ours.
Sorry, that's too late now.
Helen, why